gonna do?
Take this.
Hey, Albert, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Shane. How are you?
Good. I love the poster behind you. Thank you for that. Like, that's awesome.
Well, I gotta tell you, I saw the movie yesterday and I absolutely loved it. The nice little twists and turns in it, and overall, great movie.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was a blast to make, and with the two guys behind you, with Luke and Dolph, and then Brendan as well. Like it was kind of a dream come true. I mean, I grew up on '80s action films and Dolph there, and watching him, and then Luke. I'm a fan of his comedies, so it was nice to see him in something new, and this was a fun one to make for sure.
That's awesome. So my first question is, how did you get involved in the project?
So I was hired to direct another film for the company, and then for one reason or another, they asked me to come in and kind of direct this one. I think there was another director involved. So I came on and said, I'll do it, but I want to, the script's there. I just want to kind of, tailor to like what I would like to see as an action fan, and ground it more, but also have you care about these characters. So whether that's, not just a robbery to take money, but there's a revenge element, but also I made the two female sisters there. So when something's going on with them, you care more about them. So yeah, there's, I just wanted to, kind of bring, the first 15, 20 minutes of the film is focused, it's almost, you get to know these characters and you care about them. So when things do happen, it plays a bigger part in who, the choices they make, or,
That's exactly what I like about this movie. I like the balance between the actual story, and then we get the action. And like you said, the characters were great. We get to learn more about Brendan's character, who, he lost his wife, and then, Luke Wilson's his cousin, and, we get to learn more about him. And, even Dolph Lundgren, he spends a lot of the film drinking, but, he loves it though. It's clear that he's absolutely, I mean, anything Dolph is in, I'll watch it, because he's just legend.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And that was one thing I had to do some convincing, because when he signed on to this other iteration of the script. So I came on and said, okay, but you're going to be drunk. And so, because, when you think Dolph in this, it's, he could be a one-man crew, he could just take out everybody. It's like, no, but not if he's drunk. And which brings, which he's funny. I mean, he was a funny drunk in this. So, you'd think Luke would be the lighthearted one, but it was actually Dolph in these situations. But then as he sobers up, then he's still Dolph. I mean, he's still capable of what he's, taking people out or whatnot.
Yeah, and I like that he uses his smarts, and in terms of when he helps Brooke out in the one scene where he's because I remember this joke, and they remind me of this joke where I was talking to a coworker of mine. I'm like, Dolph Lundgren is a master's in chemical engineering, and he goes, "Well, that's funny. I thought he was a master of the universe." Like, when he came up with that comeback, I literally died, and I heard that. And so I found it to be really hysterical when he said that. And then,
that's awesome.
I did like that. Like, you get to see Luke Wilson in a different type of role, like you said. He's more into lighthearted comedies. He has this like nice guy persona about him, and he has it in this film too. But we get to see him in a different side of him as well, and I think that was a big factor in the film as well.
Yeah, no, it was a very big factor, because you think Luke Wilson and the title "The Best Man," you're like, oh, here's a wedding comedy. It's like, well, no, not at all. Like, it's definitely a wedding, but no comedy. I mean, there's comedic moments, but it's not a comedy. And with Luke, he did a lot of his own stunts, which I tried to talk him out of. It's like, we're about the same age, and we both feel it if he gets thrown through drywall one scene, and I'm sure the next morning he was definitely feeling that pain, but he went in, he dove in head first, and it was quite an experience to work with him.
Yeah, and Brendan as the titular best man, he was just great. I keep remembering him from Roswell, and getting to see him more, kicking serious butt here. And I like this fight with I like to call him the Arnold, the guy who reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, I love that fight scene with him. It's like a two-parter, and just the way the guy comes off is like, well, this guy trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, that that was in a way comedic for me because it was like,
Yeah, Andre from Stranger Things, man. Like he's I was fortunate that I could, a lot of these action films or films in this range, you have like your two main actors, and then you're not really sure who the other people are. They're hired locals. But I said, okay, I'll do this, but let's bring in talented actors like Brendan and Andre and Scout and Nikki and others that you wouldn't expect to see, faces in, what could be the fifth, sixth, seventh role down the list. And that was important to me, especially on such a tight budget, that we could have all these talented actors. And they lift each other up. So it's not, you're just not acting against somebody who is hired locally. It's, these are, are leading their own films in other genres or different, different iterations of this. So it was fun.
That's awesome. So how long did shooting take, and what complications, if any, did you face during production?
We only had like 2 weeks or so. So it was a very tight schedule. And that was the biggest challenge, was just trying to get everything shot. And there's so much action to do it. The scene in the hotel room or the pool scene. I mean, those should have been a couple of days each, and we had a couple of hours to shoot those. So, the biggest thing for me was, okay, I'll do this, but I need preparation. I need prep time with the stunt, the fight choreographer, or the stunt coordinator, or whatever, and then working with the actors. So we were fortunate enough to have that time, even though we didn't have, so the prep time definitely helped. And, that was definitely key to this whole situation. It was enough prep.
Yeah, definitely. And I just love the little twist where where it reveals who the villain is. And I'm like, even I was like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, oh, I didn't know, like, oh wow, that was a little bit of a shocker. Because and then, and I gotta say, you always got that one character in the film who, in an action film, who's kind of like the traitor of the group, but he's kind of like the dim-witted, the one who gets like, and I mean, he pulled it off really nicely here as well.
Yeah, that was fun, because that was, in the original film, it was just like, it was just a villain and he was just there to get money. But to have that whole thing, like, oh, there's a backstory for these guys, and they did come together, or they were together, and now it's a revenge piece. So that was fun to be able to add that, and then for the studio and everybody to agree with it. That was key for sure.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, this was a great film, and I hope people will get to see it when it comes out next week.
Cool.
Because especially those who want to see Luke Wilson in a different light, and get to see Dolph Lundgren, and get to see him do a little bit of comedy again. Because last time I saw him, that was Kindergarten Cop 2. But but he has a tendency to really blend those genres. So finally, what's next for you after this that you can talk about?
Yeah, I just less than 2 weeks ago, I finished directing a Christmas comedy with Malin Ackerman, Amy Smart, Ryan Hansen, Austin Nichols, who I wrote the script with. So that'll be out in theaters later this year. So it's something I'd never directed action, just like I never directed a full-on comedy before. So that was fun. And then I'm directing a documentary right now on this guy, John Y. Brown. So Tuesday, a few days ago, I was in New York and got to interview Bill Clinton one-on-one for that. So I was sitting in your chair asking questions. So yeah, that was, I enjoy going between features and documentaries and kind of going back and forth within those worlds. And, but I definitely hope to be directing another. I think my next one will be another action film. I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Sure. Awesome. So The Best Man is coming out on April 21st, next Friday. And those who want to see a great action film with a great story will want to see this one. And Shane, thank you so much again for taking the time to talk about the movie.
Albert, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And
all right,
thank you for the word out. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem, man. You take care and have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.